Welcome, everybody. I'm excited today to be interviewing Kurt Knippel. He's based out of Las Vegas, and he has been around the Helium Network for a while. And I wanted to interview you, Kurt. Welcome aboard, by the way.
Thanks, Dave. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I wanted to interview you because you've got a little bit longer term experience than most of us. Most of us are coming in right now. We're just starting to learn about the Helium Network, and we're excited to get our first miner, and we're waiting for that. We're in that waiting phase. But you've had a miner or maybe a couple of these helium miners for a while. So I wanted to interview you so we could kind of learn about your experience, since you've already been there, done that, and you can kind of give us some insights on how this all works. And actually, I think probably the most important thing is, does it work? Like those of us that are new, we want to know, hey, is this a for real thing? And does it really work? And that kind of thing. So
yeah,
so just
absolutely. Happy to share my experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to start out, how did you first hear about the Helium Network?
So actually, a good friend of mine, Sean, who's actually he's a chief in the Coast Guard, and he's been involved in a few other network marketing things, usually based around wine, actually.
Huh.
And so he got introduced to this from someone that he works with in the wine groups. And then, he knew that I was kind of, a lot more technically savvy than he was. So he talked to me about it. And that's basically how I heard about it.
Huh. And about how long ago was that?
That was, I want to say, was sometime in March.
Okay.
I believe I started in early April with iHub.
Okay. So it's been a few months now, or has it been over a year?
No. This would be of this year. So
okay.
April of this year.
Okay. So because you were one of the earlier birds, you've had a helium mining machine working for you in the background. So how many months have you had that working for you?
So yeah, my first one went online, I believe it was about April 24th. And then I actually just provisioned my second one on the 2nd of July. So nice. I've got one that's got about 3 months and one that's got, just about 2 weeks.
Well, that's awesome. And so how's your experience been so far?
So far, it's been great. The first one has done excellent. Certainly far exceeded my expectations.
Uh-huh.
The second one, given that it's just starting up, it's really hard to judge at this point, but it is performing. So
yeah.
I have no complaints at that point.
Yeah, and so are these two set up in two different locations? Because I'm pretty sure that's how it works, right?
Yeah, they're definitely set up in two different locations. One is at my house. Actually, it's on my patio. Sort of has that same view of the backyard that seeing on the screen there.
Uh-huh.
And the other one is actually at my mom and dad's house, which is about 6 miles away from me.
Okay. So 6 miles is too far for this one to communicate with that one, right?
So surprisingly, there's some factors that are involved, but actually they are connecting with each other.
Oh, okay.
Partially it is due to my location, which I'm basically at the top of the hill overlooking the entire Vegas Valley. So
okay.
That really helped.
Yeah, you're in a great location. Great. So, I want people to be excited. I want people to see exactly how this works. So if there's any way you could show us how you're doing with your earnings. So
yeah, and it's actually turned out really, really well so far. So, taking into mind that I only started in, towards the end of April, what I've actually earned so far, and I'm gonna talk just in helium tokens because the price of helium fluctuates. So,
yeah.
But in the month of April, I earned a total of 55.9 HNT. In May, which was the first full month, I earned 90.4 HNT.
Nice.
In June, it was 79.7 HNT. And in the July, they switched to a bi-weekly payout. And so for the first half of July, it was 64.5 HNT.
Nice.
And then we've just started on the second half of July, so the earnings aren't completed yet. But yeah, so that's roughly, what is that? 140 plus 100, 280 or so HNT over the last 3 months, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. And, of course, as HNT fluctuates, it depends, that determines how much you actually make. But if I remember hearing you right before when we were talking, you said something like 1 month it was like $800, another month it was $1,300 or something like that, right?
Yeah, that was basically the cash out was the first month I cashed out 900 actual real dollars that I put in my bank. The second month I cashed out 1,300 real dollars.
Nice.
And then the third month was another 1,200 real dollars. And then I've kept everything since then. So
yeah,
still got another 150 some odd HNT sitting.
See, that's really exciting because, gosh, just to turn on a machine and just to have this income just come in and it's working for you 24/7. That's exciting. And then there are ways, I'm not super, privy to these ways, but there are ways to expand that income, right?
Yes. There are, a couple of really, if you just want to expand your income from this opportunity, I mean, obviously the best is really to tell other people about it, get them into the program, because it's really two key points to that. One, it gets more people on the network. If they're close to you, that's going to increase the HNT generation for everybody. Right. And then obviously iHub has the affiliate program, so you're going to be able to earn through that affiliate program. If you're talking maximizing for any particular hotspot, there are several tricks as well for that. Gets into a little bit more involved, but I can kind of highlight a couple of those items.
Yeah, it'd be good to just kind of get an overview of how do we maximize earnings with the miner itself. And then we could talk about the affiliate program, because the affiliate program, in my opinion, is bonkers. I mean, it's just, it's an incredible opportunity. But there are some people who may not want to do that, and they may just want to hook up their machine and maximize that. So
yeah, exactly. And really, it really comes down to three things, which is location, height, and your antenna. Okay. And the height is the easy one. This is radio technology. So the higher, the better.
Right.
Just like the same reason why you put your radio and TV antenna on your roof, it's the same concept with these devices.
Yeah.
And, with that, of course, is tied to antenna. The stock antenna that comes with most of the Helium units is actually pretty good, particularly if you're in an urban area where, you're not, you've got a lot of devices within a close proximity to you. You don't need to reach out very far. But if you can get high with an external or upgraded antenna, you're going to be able to reach a lot further, a lot more devices. And there are even a few tricks within there. Has to do with antenna technology, your topography, stuff like that. Probably too much to get into in this discussion. But the nice thing is these antennas are not expensive. I think the most expensive antenna, that realistically you're going to put on this, about $100. Yeah. And honestly, most of them are $30. So, you might be all in on an antenna upgrade complete for $100, $150, and maybe that'll double your earnings.
Yeah, it'll probably pay for itself in the first month, right?
Yeah, it really does. They're very inexpensive, but really even the stock antenna is fine. The one thing that probably has the single biggest impact is your location. Not usually a lot you can do about that. Your house is where your house is. Right. But if if there are other hotspots in close proximity to you, that's great. If you're in an area where there are not a lot of hotspots, then you really want to think about either A, can I locate mine with somebody else that might be in a better area? Or B, can I get a few other people in my local area who might also want to participate in this and either have one of my hotspots in their location or have one of their own. And that's really the thing. There are some factors that have your terrain, building obstructions, things like that. Again, it's radio technology, so all of those things affect radio, and they're going to affect what we're doing. But if you can get your antenna up high, you kind of eliminate all those, and you're able to see right over them.
Right. Yeah, that's great. I noticed when I was looking at the map, the helium track map, there's maybe one near me and another one a little further off. So, if I wanted to maximize my personal earnings, I would have to maybe recruit a few people, a few neighbors in the area or whatnot.
Yeah, ideally, you want them to be about 300 meters apart. So that's about a football field or maybe like a city block apart.
Okay.
And then the typical maximum range for a stock antenna is about 2 kilometers. So between 300 meters and 2 kilometers is sort of your, sweet zone that you'd like to have, as many other hotspots as possible.
Right. Does it matter if those are owned by you or owned by someone else?
For the earnings of any particular miner, it doesn't.
Okay.
Obviously, whoever we're speaking to is ever watching this, if they owned all those miners, so much the better. I mean, that's coming into their pocket. But yeah, if you just wanted to have one for yourself and got 10 of your friends that were kind of in that area, and each wanted to have one, yeah, each of those individual miners, it doesn't matter who owns it, they're going to earn because they're all talking to each other.
Yeah, interesting. It's such an interesting concept that it kind of relies on those neighboring miners, hotspots as well, and that increases. I guess that increases all the earnings, right?
Right. Yeah, it really does, because the more, at least right now, because everything right now is proof of coverage. So they're building the network. So they're all talking to each other to prove, hey, I'm over here. And another one says, oh, I saw you over there. And then another one says, oh, I saw that too. And they're just talking to create that mesh network. And then later on down the road, there'll be changes based on actual usage of the network. But that could be several years really away.
Right. I forgot to mention this. I should have mentioned this at the beginning, Kurt, but you have a background in this, right?
Yeah, I actually do. I've been a professional software developer for 25 plus years, probably at this point, probably more than that. And even though I don't really write code anymore, I'm in management. We actually do. My company does custom software development, custom websites. And actually, surprisingly, we've done a couple of projects with Internet of Things. And I didn't even really think about it at the time that I first got introduced to this. But then once I really thought back, I'm like, oh, we've got, a current client. They work with beverage gas systems for restaurants. And they have smart valves on these gas systems. CO2 and nitrogen for the beverage dispensing. And we've also worked with a system that did monitors for hospital equipment. So it would tell you if the equipment was plugged in, if it had power, if it was in use, if it was not plugged in, etc.
Right.
And those were all Internet of Things. Now those work over Wi-Fi because of, well, they have the ability to work over Wi-Fi. They're plugged into things and they're not moving, so they're in a static location. So Wi-Fi works perfect for those. But the other types of things that the Helium network is specializing in don't have that capability.
Yeah, that's something I was going to ask you is what's the difference between what we're doing with helium mining with a hotspot, they call it LoRa, long range, versus Wi-Fi. My wife asked me this question, well, what's the difference? Why don't we just use Wi-Fi that we have at home for those Internet of Things? Yeah,
so there's really two main reasons. One of them is cost, and the other one is power. Power being the most critical factor. With, Wi-Fi, actually, even with Wi-Fi, there's a range issue as well. Wi-Fi is very short range. Basically, your Wi-Fi covers your house, but that's about it. But also, there's a power cost, a big power cost, and the same thing with cellular and GPS, which are kind of the other technologies. They have a very high power cost, and the sensors and things that are going to be connecting to the Helium network are low power. In some cases, they might be no power, and so they can't afford to have a Wi-Fi radio. They can't afford to have a cellular radio, a GPS radio in them.
I see.
Then there's also the other factor, of course, that these things, if they're moving around, they have no way to connect to every single random Wi-Fi that they come across.
Right.
So that's really where the LoRaWAN, which is what's coming up, the radio network out of the Helium Hotspot, it's just out there listening. And radio is very, very low power, which is one of the nice things. That's why you can get the little, your transistor radio that takes one AAA battery and lasts for a year.
Right.
And that's the same thing with these sensors. They might get what's in effect a watch battery, or like your smoke alarms, which have just that little teeny tiny battery in them, and they last for 10 years.
Right.
Same thing with these kind of sensors, and they just periodically send out their little bits of data, and any of these radio systems are just listening for that and pick it up and then distribute it because they're plugged in and they have power, and they can then send it out over the internet.
That's interesting. And so they can coexist, right? Obviously Wi-Fi and LoRaWAN.
LoRaWAN, yep.
Can coexist and basically make the world a better place.
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, really, they can all coexist. And in fact, we're doing that all the time anyway. You've probably got, you've got a GPS on your phone, you've got a Wi-Fi connection in your house.
Right.
You've probably got a radio, or, you may or may not have a TV that's still connected to over the air. So all these things are already existing in your world, and we're just kind of utilizing them in a different way with, and to a certain extent, taking advantage of the fact that all of these things exist in all of our worlds, to make this happen.
Yeah. Well, we talked briefly about the affiliate program. Now, I think it's interesting that iHub Global, which is the group that we're working with as kind of a liaison with Helium Network, has this incredible opportunity. They've kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, this is how I understand it, they've kind of bolted on an affiliate program to an already exciting technology. Am I understanding that right?
Yep.
Because I know that there are people who are mining helium, but they don't get this affiliate. They don't receive access to this affiliate program because they're not on our team, so to speak. Is that about how I'm?
Yeah, definitely. And there's certainly, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be doing and what they call lone wolfing, where just operating on their own, and which is perfectly fine. And for some people, they just want their one hotspot, and that's it, and great, and then that works out perfect for them.
Right. Yeah. Let's talk about the affiliate program. How do you see it? I mean, when I first saw it, I thought this is unbelievable what they're doing, because I'm a marketer. So from a marketer's point of view, I see a product that costs the consumer nothing. I see a multiplication effect through the affiliate program where after a while, this consumer that pays nothing to be involved is mining helium. And let's say it's even just a small amount, like $300 a month. But they're naturally going to tell their friends, hey, I got this little device in my house and it's making me $300 a month. I don't do anything for it. That seems like a recipe for just an explosive sharing of that information, and organic sharing, not where you have to go like sit a bunch of people in a room and try to get them excited about something. It feels to me like it's a very natural way for people to share something that's come about really, really nicely for them.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. When I first learned about this, initially I thought I'm not a network marketing guy. I don't really get involved with that stuff. But when I first heard about it, I'm like, oh, okay, well, why wouldn't I just buy? I'll just buy one myself. It's a neat idea. Let me just buy one and try it.
Right.
And then I started thinking about it and realized, oh, well, if I just buy it and just get it myself, well, I only have one location that I can put it in. So if I really like it and I want to buy 10 more, well, what am I going to do with them?
Right.
And so then that's when it sort of did hit me. I mean, it took probably a week, but then it hit me of, okay, this is where it makes sense. Rather than me having to buy all of these devices and then try to figure out where to put them,
Right.
I could just tell the people about it and say, hey, why don't you just go sign up? And I came in, of course, when we still had to pay for these. So yeah. I've got mine. I had to pay for them. I had to pay regular price for them. And now, we're coming in and people are able to get these and not have to pay anything. So it's literally is free money. And if you want to tell other people, and honestly, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? Right.
Tried to tell my family, tried to tell my friends, tried to tell everybody that I know about this, because it is an excellent opportunity and it costs you virtually nothing, takes virtually no time, and you just have to catch some HNT in.
It's incredible. I'm the same way as you. I've had my experiences with network marketing in the past, and this is technically, from what I saw in one of the trainings, technically it is an affiliate program because it's only 2 levels. But when I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I'll just mine some HNT, mine some helium, and won't think about that. But the more the gears started turning, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this is a no-brainer. I mean, if I talk to 10 people and introduce them to it, and 2 or 3 sign up, I win, they win. Frankly, Kurt, I think people are going to be buying us Christmas gifts.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
Because we introduced them to this, right?
Yeah, and the other interesting factor too about the affiliate program and signing people up, and this is kind of where I started thinking about it too, is that we're putting something in someone's house, right? And I don't necessarily want to be able to go to all my friends' houses, figure out their Wi-Fi, figure out where to put this thing and all that stuff. If I can just hand it to them and they take half an hour to set this up, rather than me having to drive and do it, and then, oh, I didn't do something right, or the cord got kicked or something and I have to go back. No, it's a lot easier if they know the little bit that we need to know to be able to do this, because it is really far simpler than it seems. That's just so much the better. And if I make a little bit of affiliate commission, great. Yeah.
It really is. Any angle that I look at it, because I've been studying home-based opportunities for a couple of decades now. At any angle that I look at, I try to pick it apart, and I can't pick it apart. You've got one of the people in the training session said, you can build out this network and nobody paid a dime to be a part of it, but yet they're earning an income, and it's incredible. So now that you've been earning some extra income from this opportunity, what are some of your plans to grow that income?
So like I mentioned, I came into this when when we had to purchase these miners, and my business partner and I collectively, we've got probably another 13 to 15 of them that we've already paid for.
Oh, wow.
That we are personally going to be deploying. And then, so there's that side of things. Now, those are ones that we personally own. So, we're collecting the HNT on it. And, like I said, my mom and dad's house, my brother's house, my business partner, his mom's house, his sister's house, things like that. Right. And some other friends that, maybe you don't need a lot of technical expertise to do this, but some of them, they don't want to touch anything electronic. So, okay, we're going to help them out. We're going to put them in their house. We're going to just share the HNT with them. And then, we're still working on building out and letting anybody know that has either, enough desire or enough technical knowledge to be able to go, hey, I can go sign up for this. I can reserve mine, I can get mine. Fantastic. So we're building that out. And then we do have some other plans that are in the works. I can't really share those in a public forum like this. Those are kind of private things that we've got going on. But there's definitely, it revolves around, getting these helium miners out there and opportunities that we're going to take advantage of with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I see an opportunity, frankly, as a marketer, I see an opportunity to just advertise to local business owners and say, hey, how would you like to add an income stream to your business that doesn't require you dealing with customers? You don't have to make appointments. You don't have to deal with customer service. You don't have to do any of the stuff. By simply by virtue of the fact that you have a location, you can start earning additional income.
Yeah, and actually, that's a fantastic idea. There are a lot of small businesses that, I'm sure you probably know on tip of your tongue, 10 small businesses in your community that would love to have an extra $300 cash a month.
Absolutely.
That's no question about that. Also, one of the really interesting things that I was at my local vet, had my dogs in there for getting their checkups, and noticed a helium miner sitting in their window.
Huh.
And this is really an excellent opportunity for anybody, anywhere. Go talk to your local vet, because one of the things that are on the Helium network are little pet collar tags, locator tags. Those are part of the Helium network. I don't remember which company it is. It may be petfinder.com or something like that. Don't quote me. I'm not sure. But yeah, go to your local vet and say, see if they have one. If they don't have one, get one there. That is exactly the kind of real world application of these helium miners.
That's an easy entree to start sparking up a conversation with them.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. So what do you think of the future of this opportunity as we wrap up here, Kurt? I'm just, because like I said, you've got a head start on us, and you look like you're really knee deep in it already. So what do you see as the future here for the Helium Network?
There's, I think the future is huge. There are the Internet of Things, has been with us for quite a few years now. It's here to stay. People really just don't realize that it's there. And they're probably just starting to hear that term. But there are smart devices starting to really permeate into people's homes. There are package tracking, asset tracking, water, fire, heat sensors of all kinds that are starting to be populated around the world, and companies coming out with that stuff. So that part of it is massive. And even if the Helium network only takes over, even a small portion of that for these low power, no power side of things, that's still, it's billions of dollars, that whole industry. So I think this is definitely a very big opportunity. I think it's a long-term opportunity.
Right.
One of the things I've had to explain this to people, while it pays out in a cryptocurrency, this is not a cryptocurrency play. This is a long-term technology and infrastructure play. It just happens to use crypto as its economy or currency. Right. And so I think, this is a really big opportunity. Helium has a 25-year, something like that, plan already mapped out. And we're only in year 2 or 3 of it, so they've got a lot of stuff mapped out for a long time. There's a lot to research into that if you really want to dig deep into that. In terms of the iHub, I think it's a little bit more immediate of an opportunity, because there's a big gold rush right now on securing the real estate, and getting your hotspots deployed, and starting to earn, but they're going to earn potentially for decades. So, getting them in a good spot, getting them set up, getting yourself set up with this, and then building your network, letting your people, letting your friends, your family, business associates know about it, right now so that they can secure their own spot. That's the immediate opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the way you put it, a gold rush, or to me, it feels like the land grab,
Yeah, land grab, there you
go. Everybody gets let loose and goes and stakes their claim.
Yep.
And the way to multiply and maximize that is build a team.
Yep.
Or, have affiliates going out there and doing the same thing. So
yeah, and one of the things too that's really, there's going to be people all over the place, that are potentially seeing this interview. Small towns, don't necessarily look in your area and go, there's not really anybody around here. I'm in a rural area.
Mm-hmm.
This won't even work. That's actually not true. And, Helium needs to be able to cover those areas so they can sell to their customers and the people that are actually utilizing the network. But there's also very interesting opportunities for these devices to be used in agricultural areas. So things like you wouldn't think, I live on a farm 10 miles from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but guess what? Maybe you've got irrigation sensors that are all over your farm. And, you want to be able to have one of these and the neighboring farms and the other. So small town is really a big, big opportunity here. And,
interesting.
But probably bigger than the larger metropolitan cities.
Huh. That's awesome. I do have one last question that just came up. What happens if somebody is in one of these really populated places and they apply for a minor? Can they be turned down because the spot's already taken, or how does that part work?
Yeah, so I believe there are basically two answers to that. The one answer is that you could be turned down if there's too much of a density in your particular location. You can look at the Helium Explorer app, go to San Francisco, go to New York or Manhattan, Chicago, see what those areas are like. They're just thick with miners. Really, it doesn't help to have any more there.
Right.
And I think iHub is going to help control the distribution a little bit to, maybe help avoid those already congested areas. But the thing to think about too is if maybe your area is like that, or maybe you already know, oh, my neighbor already has one. He already got one. Then you just think about, oh, but who else do I know who might want one?
Right.
And maybe that becomes either an affiliate play for you, or maybe you even reserve one and go, oh, you know what? I can put it at my Uncle Bill's house.
Right.
I can put it at, my friend Sally's house, whatever. You can find other locations that maybe aren't so congested and it's still yours. Or like I said, bring them in as affiliates. But not everybody's going to want to do that.
Yeah, to me, if we look at this strictly as a business opportunity, the affiliate opportunity is the opportunity.
Yeah.
The mining opportunity is, like, if this was a network marketing company, let's say this was Amway, to quote a really old one, the mining is the soap. But the affiliate opportunity is what allows you to multiply your wealth. And so the miner is the product, but the opportunity is, hey, I can bring as many people as I want for a limited time, at least until that all fills up. And then you're just earning from that point on. I mean, you're still earning.
Exactly. And except unlike Amway, here the soap is paying you.
Exactly. That's awesome. All right, Kurt. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity to get some insight from somebody who really knows this technology. And this has really answered a lot of my questions, and I think it's answered a lot of our viewers' questions too. So I appreciate your time and your help here today. And
yeah, absolutely.
Look forward to staying in touch with you as well.
Definitely, Dave. It was greatly appreciated, and thanks for having me on.
Awesome.